PITTS age, 50s born, Newark, New Jersey. Years in the game, 12. Major influence, Fergie. How did you get started in the game? Since I was 12 years old, I've been around the dogs. I worked afternoons after school at a pet shop. It was a full-line pet shop that carried all animal needs. It was there that I was introduced to various breeds of dogs, and that is when my infatuation with pit bulls started. I worked at the pet shop for a while, and in 1967 I bought the owner out. I was interested in many other breeds of dogs before I got a case of pit bull fever. I was heavily into Dobermans and Rottweilers for years. I also had an affinity for high-money dogs such as Yorkshire Terriers, Maltese, Great Danes, and Shih Tzus. At this time of my life, I was a money man. I would do whatever necessary to make a buck. To be quite frank, I really didn't like bulldogs as pets. One day, a son of a fiend of mine said to me, "Mr. Pitts, you really need to come see these dogs in action. Once you see them, you'll really like them." So I went to the Iron Run Pet Shop in Newark to see my first professional role. This pet shop was owned by the late Tom Rosso. After I saw the dogs rolled, I said maybe I would give this a shot. The kid then invited me to go with him to Bill Ashton's house out on the island. We went out there because he was supposed to pick up a puppy. We went out there and I saw several pups. The kid bought one and I said, maybe I'll buy one too. I picked out a nice wrinkly liver-colored dog, just as cute as he could be. I brought him home and my wife liked him very much. It was a son of Ashton's champion Butch. I then bought about 3 or 4 dogs from Tom Rosso. I then met up with a gut named Izzy. He was supposed to be some ace dogman. He was supposed to take me out to meet some people in the game. I went out with him once to Ron Ferguson's house. I thought that me and Izzy were going to become real good friends, but I learned early on that bulldog people were strange people. He was the type of person that didn't want you to do anything without him. I proceeded to work with people that were honest and straightforward with me and went in my own direction. Everyone has their own reasons for getting into bulldogs. What exactly about pit bulls attracted you to them? What first impressed me about the dog is their manner in the pit. It amazed me the way that a handler could break the dogs up from fighting without any thought of being bitten by one of the participants. With other breeds of dogs, if you try to break them up from fighting, you would be scared that you would get bitten. These dogs also could be hell on wheels one moment, and then be as gentle as Bambi the next. The biggest difference between a bulldog and any other breed is their sixth sense of being able to feel exactly what you want out of him. I've had all kinds of dogs and could tell you their characteristics, but none of them could compare to a pit bull. They feed on your emotions. They know when you're pissed off, and when 51 Mr. and Mrs. Pitts, along with friends, Mr. and Mrs. Sonny P. at Pig Pick in 1993, you're happy. That's why it is important to never hit or mistreat your dog. They're just like human beings when it comes to emotions. Some people take the dog game as a way of life, and some take it as a hobby. How do you take this sport? I take the dog seriously, but to me it's a sport. I treat it the way that I feel it should be treated. It is a sport. Nothing more. Nothing less. I belong to many other organizations that take up an abundance of my time, but I make sure to keep things in proper perspective. I go out on the yard in the thick of winter with 20 layers of clothes on and just walk around the yard looking at the dogs. I might stay out there until 1 or 2 in the morning. My face will be stiff and I'll have frozen snot on my face, but I enjoy it. You might have noticed that I was wearing old, dirty, funky clothes on the yard. The reason I do this is that the clothes start to get the same scent as the dogs and they sort of think of me in those clothes as one of them. You might say that is one of my training methods. What was your most active year in the dogs? Well, there was one year that I personally matched and conditioned 16 dogs. I went through $30,000, $35,000 in the dogs that year. Sometimes things start out good, and you get cocky and think that you can't lose. I think that I lost some matches because I developed a product along the way that gave my dogs incredible amounts of energy. I used to work the dogs on the product, and they would work hard and still have loads of energy and stamina left. It seemed as though they never got tired. I lost several matches because of overconditioning. Every dogman has their own unique ways of conditioning bulldogs. What type of keep do you put your dogs through? Who in the sport has helped you the most? Ron Ferguson and his wife helped me the most. He was the person that I purchased Grand Champion Country from. I purchased about 28 dogs from Ferguson during those years. He would really help me because he would test the dogs that I bought hard. He would tell me with complete honesty which dogs were good and which dogs I'd be gambling on. I was a beginner in the game and had a lot of money, so I ended up buying several dogs. This is from the American Game Dog Times in the 1900s.